Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I am back with another decoupage video and I'm going to show you how I decoupage these scallop shells. If you are new to decoupage, this is a great beginner-friendly video and I'll explain later why. We are going to start by painting the inside of the shell white, so grab a paintbrush and some paint. For this project, I am using Apple Barrel white acrylic paint. You can get it at any craft store, or if you prefer online shopping, I will leave a link in the description box below. We are going to be cutting out smaller pieces of the napkin to decoupage on our shell, so in this case, I would recommend not skipping this step. When you are covering up the whole shell with the napkin, you could skip this step, but if your shell has discoloration inside, it is better to paint it. The end result will look much better. I always use 2 coats of paint. It's important to let the first layer completely dry. I usually wait at least an hour. If you don't, the first layer will start coming off as you are brushing on the second layer, and you'll end up scrubbing it off and repainting it again. These shells will be a gift for a friend, and because she loves the ocean, I chose this beautiful napkin with sea creatures. First, I roughly cut out the design and then just cut around the image to make it look prettier in case the edges show up once I glue the napkin on. Usually when decoupage, you cover the whole shell with the napkin, but in this case, I want to place the sea creatures a certain way, so I'm cutting them out. If you are new to decoupage, this would be a great way to start. Sometimes gluing on the whole napkin can be a bit tricky and frustrating. The napkin can tear easily, and you can get a lot of wrinkles that don't look as great. We are going to use the very top layer of the napkin. Usually they have 3 layers, so make sure you peel off the bottom 2 layers. Now that I have all the pieces cut out, I am going to start gluing them on. I'm using Mod Podge with a glossy finish, but you can certainly use a different sheen if you prefer. I do think the glossy finish looks better in this case. First we apply a thin layer of Mod Podge on the shell using a brush. Then place your cutout piece of napkin on the shell and cover it up with another layer of Mod Podge. And just like that, continue to place your pieces on the shell. Place them where you think they look the best and apply a top layer of Mod Podge. I got these shells on Amazon, and I will leave a link to them in the description box below, as well as the link to the napkins in case you want to recreate the same design using the same shells. The napkin has these speckles on it, so I'm going to cut out a few and just glue them onto the empty places. Now that we waited patiently for the glue to dry, we can remove the edges of the napkin that are overhanging. If you haven't glued any on that are over the edges, you can skip this step. I'm using a sandpaper and gently sanding off the excess. Make sure your shell is clean of dust and debris from sanding, and apply another layer of Mod Podge. This will give it more protection and will make it look a bit shinier. Multiple thin layers is better than one thick layer. If the layer is too thick, it will not dry clean, but will look a bit murky. For the edges, I'm using a gold metallic paint. I wanted a contrasting color, but I think a silver metallic paint would look great as well. It would be more subtle though, and that is not what I was going for. The paint I'm using is from Folk Art 871 Pure Gold. Just paint around the edges with a smaller brush, and don't worry if it doesn't look quite right yet. The second coat of the paint will make all the difference. As always, patience is the key, so make sure you let the first layer completely dry before you start painting on the second layer. As I said earlier, these will be a gift to a friend of mine, so make sure to stick around if you want to see how I package them up. I hope you are finding this video helpful. I'm trying to give you as much information and tips as I can think of, so your crafting experience is a breeze. If I forgot to mention something, feel free to ask me in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer all your questions. I've made a couple other decoupage videos in the past, so make sure to check out my playlist. You can already see how painting on the second layer just makes this shell look so much better. Now, if there are still a few spots that don't look quite right, just apply a third coat of paint. If you are enjoying this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Not only it will help my channel, but it for sure will cheer me up. For the back of the shell, I like to do the same thing and just paint around the edges. You could paint the whole back of the shell gold. I've done it before and it looked great, but I think leaving the back natural just looks a little bit better. For the best result, apply 2 coats, just like we did it on the front of the shell. I will show you how I package these up in case you are making these as gifts as well and need an idea or inspiration. Since these are a set, I'll tie them all together using a twine. I have these cute little charms I made a while back from epoxy, so I'll add them for a little pizzazz. I'm placing shredded decorative paper in the box for some protection, since these are quite delicate. You could also just use a tissue paper if that's what you have handy. And just keeping things simple, using a slim ribbon, I'll tie a bow and add a little happy birthday tag to it. I hope you enjoyed this video and will make this for yourself or a friend. Until next time, happy crafting!